Welcome back. This is part 2 of manipulating pieces. After the first video we just moved 2 pieces by clicking around and using the little angles to roll pieces around. So this is exactly where we left off. I'm just going to click on a piece there and zoom in, and then I can sort of click on this piece maybe and just slide across very carefully across to the right, and that's pretty much close enough. This is in 1mm. Okay, bottom right hand screen here you'll see this snap grid, and that's snapping at 1mm increments. I can turn that down to 1/2 millimeter, right down to 1/10 of a millimeter. So sometimes when things get a little bit out of line because you've dragged them, you can actually turn this down to get more accurate settings. Most of the time it's left on 1. Okay, another way of doing exactly the same. That's where it looks a little bit more complicated. Everything's based on the grid that we see on the floor, yeah, and we've got the ability to move that grid. Okay, so if we're working side by side or up in the air, as we will be doing when we get our 3D model a little bit further along, this is the grid tool here. If we click the grid tool and we click on this grid itself, we get this sort of like cone, okay? And I can put this cone anywhere I want, so I can put it on the top of there, or I can put it on the side of there, or the side of there, or the side of there. Okay, in this particular instance I'm going to set the grid there. And you see the grid's actually cut through that piece exactly along that plane, which is absolutely fantastic for doing this. Click on the part that's opposite, hover on there, and I can see that that's 22mm away from the other piece, and that's very, very precise. Okay, if I click and hold, I can actually just slide, drag that until it gets to 0 and let go. And I know that is now absolutely 100% perfectly connected. We now want to turn the grid back to where it was. Click on the grid again, just drop it anywhere on a white space and the grid's back to where it should be. Now I know those 2 pieces are connected perfectly. So if I'm going to use 2 pieces, for instance, over and over again, the best thing to do is select them both. I can either drag around them, or I can click on one, hold down the shift key and click on the other, and click group. And that will join them together. I can also, so they're just one part now, and they just stay as one part all of the time. Exactly the same as we did before in the last video. I can press Control and do D for duplicate, and slide my other 2 pieces across. So now I've got 4 pieces joined together. Because I'm in 1mm increments, everything should connect perfectly in any case, but I could have used the method that I just showed you there. So in this particular instance, let's take those 4 now, which is a 2 and a 2, 2 there, 2 there, drag through them and group those together. Okay, so we get 4. And it tends to join the tiles up, but it's okay for this particular part of the operation of what we're doing. So let's just imagine that we wanted to now say, well, we've built this wall and we want to bring it up upwards properly. So I'm going to grab on the corner, click drag, keep it on the inside of the circle till I get to 90 degrees and let go. And if you remember, that's gone halfway through the plane because it's spinning at the centre axis. So half's gone above and half's gone below. So I'm just going to roll in a little bit. You can't always see this, so just get it so you can see the numbers here on the bottom right hand side. It's saying it's minus 14.4, which is what I would expect. Slide that up till we get to 0. And let go. Okay, let's get in the middle of this picture. So that's centered everything for us. And let's just imagine, for the sake of this argument, that we want to build another wall on top. The easiest thing to do is press part, press Control and D, which is a duplicate again. It's now covered the whole entire 4 pieces, and it's actually selected it. So if I now drag this up, you'll see I'm bringing the wall up. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. So I'm dragging the wall upwards in space. Okay, so now I've got 4 walls. Alright, if I want to be absolutely 100% precise, you remember this little square grid, and this is what we're sort of going through on this tutorial. Click the grid, drop it on top of that piece there, and set the grid right across the top of that piece. Okay, click the second 4, hover over it, and you'll see that we're 3mm. You can see on the bottom right hand corner there, we're 3mm from that grid. So if we just click and hold, we can drag that down until we get to 0, and I know that they're perfectly in line. Remember to get rid of the grid and just reset it back to the floor. Click on it and just click on the floor down there. There we go. And we've got 2 pieces. Now, assuming we were going to build that, what you generally do is just ungroup everything. Because if we ungroup everything, remember that was the 2 and the 2, so you've got to ungroup again. So you might just want to just click around and just reset everything back to ungroup. They're all individual pieces again. Yeah, and when we go around the back, we can see the joins there, so now we know what makes up those pieces. Okay, and that's the quick demo version 2 of manipulating pieces.